is the first time in my entire life that I've held one of these things. Well, this is fun. I think I'm going to take to this. I'm going to get one of these.
So this came about when I was sat talking with Vivian, because I've done quite a bit of work on physical pilgrimages, and Vivian's done work with online stuff, and we were sort of debating how much the category of pilgrimage can apply to this sort of thing, particularly this sort of thing, because there's been a rise in so-called online pilgrimages, but many of these have been physical sites that have a sort of audio or video a complement to them. And so if you can't do the physical pilgrimage, you can go online and see a video of someone else doing it. When I first did the Mani Mahesh pilgrimage in 2007 in northern India, there was nothing online at all. And it was really kind of wandering into the unknown, into the mountains, and that uncertainty was a large part of it. But today there are all sorts of YouTube videos and things, accounts and blogs online of people doing it. So there's this connection between the virtual and the real, where they reinforce each other. And I think a lot of online or cyberspace religion works that way, that it reinforces something physical, and the two are in relationship with each other. But this particular thing called journey, which Vivian will talk about in a minute, has no obvious physical, concrete thing. And so it's very different to all the online pilgrimages that have been talked about so far. And it seems the perfect arena to test what's going on in the cyberspace, in the virtual world, in relation to traditional pilgrimage theory. Now, it may well be that we reflect on this and we think that, hi, committee of collaboratory, no problem, we're just doing a little introduction. And then, if you don't mind, there's a consent form to sign, so we're recording some audio. Is that okay? If you really want, we can edit you out later. But, so it's just saying that we wanted to test how this category of pilgrimage worked in this online scenario, particularly in such an abstract online world as the world of journey. And of course, if you think back to theories of pilgrimage, it's a good way to reflect on those theories and see whether the theories themselves need to be broadened to take into account other phenomena of the modern world, as indeed they've been in the past, take into account other phenomena in other places, or whether, in fact, we don't want to see this as a pilgrimage at all, whether we think there's something else going on here, even if people describe it as pilgrimage. So, the heart of pilgrimage theory I always think of is Eliada's idea of a journey to a centre, something that's central in the world, and is a world that's cloaked in mythology and rich in myth and meaning. And one of the interesting things about this is that here, the mythology is not obvious in any way. You don't pre-know lots of stories before journeying into the world, and so it reminds us of that other great pilgrimage theorist, Victor Turner's assertion that ritual actually trumps myth. In his big argument with Levi-Strauss says, well, all ritual is really just a subsidiary of myth, because without myth, ritual is meaningless action. And Turner says, no, all myth is really just a subsidiary of ritual, because ritual is where the meaning is and the emotion, and myth is just an explanation of ritual practice. So it takes us into that more Turnerian world of the ritual practice, if we can see this as ritual practice, coming first, and any mythological understanding being built around about that. The Turners, of course, are two other great pilgrimage theorists. Their idea of the journey to the centre being a centre outward. Say, when I did my journey to the Himalayas, a place that's distant on the horizon yet central to your cosmology. And as you enter ever deeper into the thick forest of symbols that surrounds it, you get drawn physically into the world and land of the gods. So pilgrimage is a journey to across the next, between the world of time and the world of the timeless. And at the same time, if I can use that word, pilgrimage is something that for the Turners is not really individual. That whole community is in here with twixt and between, although they say it's liminoid rather than liminal, because it's not compulsory as in a rite of passage, so the communitas may not be as stressed. Now, because the whole history that we don't need to go into, people saying communitas doesn't work on various pilgrimages. But it's interesting to think, how might communitas work on this pilgrimage, if indeed it works at all? And this idea of the individual and the collective online is one thing that we really wanted to explore. we might talk about later, which is that the internet creates its own habitus, faces of different consciousnesses being drawn together through their shared cyber experience. And indeed, in the latest edition of the Turner and Turner's image of pilgrimage in Christian society, theory of pilgrimage is ideally suited to cyberspace, where we can see communitas in operation. But other scholars, such as study of pilgrimage in Ireland, have said that no, communitas doesn't work online because it's a solitary thing. And maybe then it's not pilgrimage at all because of its solitary nature, because of the way that it's divided. But if we return to people like Marinus, then we see a much better to anything that is a desirable place or state, something that's transformative within you. And perhaps that's the way we want to see this operating. So it provides a lovely arena to test these ideas of pilgrimage out against, as a way of reflecting on both this experience and on the category of pilgrimage in anthropology. Tied to that is this idea of the collective and the individual that I think is important to explore. And then the final strand that really struck me is that when I do the Mani Mahesh pilgrimage, one of the real striking things about it was the physical experience. The feel of the wind on you, the cold biting you, the feeling that you might die at any moment, that sense of peril, and the feeling that you were in communion both with the landscape and with the other humans. So loss of the self by and shaping you was a key part of the experience. Now, that works fairly well even when it's divorced from the sort of cultural anthropological categories of symbolic anthropology, where we may see symbols as layered on the landscape through myth, because we can talk about maybe fundamental phenomenological human experiences that we might have, the experience of wind, whether that can be something that's somehow fundamentally relatable to all of us in some way, albeit with subtle nuances. Go back to the plenary the other day. So this is the sort of thing that we can explore there, and indeed that works very well with the more New Age, more individual, spiritual pilgrimages that we experience. Perhaps a Shelley Age, where individuals just go out into the mountains on their own and sort of commune with nature. Right here, where we don't have as physical an experience. For sure, we're moving around something, moving our fingers, engagement rather than an engagement that's felt, that's smelt, that's embodied in other ways, seems to be very of our age, and I wonder what it does to the experience. So these are the sort of things I'd like to reflect on in this laboratory either. So
before I start, does anyone want a hand on the controls? I can give you a layout if you need. Alright. Sure. Alright. So you move your guy with this thumbstick. You can do your little call button by pressing the circle button, and then you can jump with A once you have a little glowy scarf. We can get you a glowy scarf. We'll find out. I just got a flying carpet ride. Okay.
Okay, so shall we? So I know, come away from the front so I don't see my.
So you can also move the camera if you want by doing the other thumbstick. So the one that doesn't move your guy, but
okay.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
There you are.
Same again.
Yeah, okay. It is.
But it's very naturalized one. You can't see whether she's a woman or
Sort of a bit Middle Eastern-y, Chinese-y.
I think very oriental.
Oriental.
Yeah.
I think you should. Why don't you try and go into that?
Okay. Which one?
Orientalist or just
the one
Oriental?
right.
I think orientalist.
You think?
Yeah, and the musicals.
I think she's a Maasai woman dressed.
Lost. Lost in space. Well, it's not moving.
It's-
Oh.
Oh.
No.
Try the other thumbstick.
So one,
There you go.
one of the strange things about this for me, I've done this through once as a sort of test, and you don't really know what you're doing or where you're going.
The faith comment is interesting. You just have to trust in going to the places. But that because there's no like road map or anything
Yes.
like that. Do you just find the right bits of architecture, whether you go left or right, because that's what's going to happen in that moment in the game, or do you have to go around? Can you end up going around and sand dunes and never finding anything else?
You can, yeah.
I did that for half an hour the other day.
Because I'm wondering about this correspondence with the physical world and whether there's actually like a blueprint of where certain buildings and things are and they don't move, or do they move?
No, it's I mean the world is pretty much set, but you can wander around and kind of go farther away from the set path of things in the world a bit, and then walk circles around, just wondering where you're a bit before you go, oh, this looks, I guess, new. Finding your way.
I'm being drawn to the water.
There is an end game. There is an end point, end objective. Then. Is there?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I like that there's no map in it.
You do like that?
Yeah, I think because a lot of games have a little bit.
Oh, so that way it tells you.
My wife Sakanya and I, we did the pilgrimage and wrote the paper. We had no map with that, but at the same
I've
time,
been blown away by the wind. Oh, look at him straining to get up the sand dunes.
at the same time, there
But
were
they're there just to see what to do.
there were lots of other people to follow, so you never felt quite as isolated as this.
Is it you do on your own?
No, spiritual pilgrimages that some people talk about, like Shalini Singh, which are just an individual going off into the mountains to commune with nature without any real plans. So maybe it's more like that. I don't know. But
A great many pilgrimages have been in travelling to build on communal historical significance.
I think you need to get into the building.
No.
I'd take the wind as a sign.
So Jonathan, the point you made about it being visual really needs complementing by the auditory, doesn't it?
that's true.
I mean, turning down the sound was an interesting act to do.
I think you see these scarves. They help you to do things.
The what?
These sort
Yes.
of floating. I don't know. They look like
Oh,
prayer
yeah,
scarves.
Yeah,
don't
if
they?
you do your thing near it, then it'll kind of help you out.
The circle one? This one?
Yeah, you did it.
Something's going on.
Oh wow. That's a really interesting. What is that?
Oh, now we can take it.
Maybe they'll be like fish. I don't know.
Yeah, you
It's
kept
sort of-
calling them fish.
Dragons.
I think they're dragons. They're
Yeah.
carpet dragons. It's reminding me. Was anyone in the plenary on wind yesterday?
Yeah.
It's reminding me of that. Where are the clocks?
Where is the window?
So I listened to a. It's not like a pilgrimage, and it's reminded me that actually there are points in a pilgrimage where you do feel a bit like that, and that you think, how much further is this path going to go on, and where are we going to get?
But if instead of going into the pilgrimage literature, you went into the dream literature, you'd be in another world altogether in terms of sensory terms.
Yeah.
Because the whole motif of flying, the whole motif
Can you
of
jump there?
Here.
light and dark,
Yes.
it's dream world really.
And I suppose you have vision.
Something's happening.
Yeah.
You interacted
You're
with
the
that
recorder.
earlier, and something broke and something opened up.
Oh,
So I
here.
wonder if there's more of them that you could sort of open up.
Oh, I see. You need to get through that arch up there.
I
as
know
well.
this one. Yeah. But
They're like the other pilgrims almost, though. It's leading the way.
Oh look, there's a.
Yeah, shooting star just went past.
If you're not competent and you don't get rewards after a certain amount of time, would this die?
oh,
Can you die?
No, I mean behaviour involving rewards and punishments. If she doesn't get up there, or he doesn't get up there fast, when would you give up?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. Well, you can give up in multiple ways as well. So in our case, you can give up by walking out, or you can give up by simply passing the controller off, I guess.
It's like a film.
I think I killed her.
You can try messing with the camera. You can either do it by moving the controller or by
Oh,
just
is that?
These guys have read the Tibetan Book of the Dead, haven't they?
I think, why would you say that?
Because of the sense you are going to move into strange environments. You're going to need help in those strange
Go and
environments.
get one of those groups of.
And you will encounter dynamic entities in that environment.
Yes, good plan. The whole group.
Oh, yay! There you go.
Okay.
Why not?
Oh, you're still flying.
terrifying one. I don't know.
Feels quite desolate.
Very much.
It's not much life.
Oh, you're flying with the carpets. Wow. Can you go?
Will it be exhausted in some way? I mean, exhausted its power or something like that?
You're going towards the sun.
Yeah,
Have you got to
mountain's
get?
the key.
Is that the end game?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're trying to get to that mountain.
Mount Meru.
Amazing colours.
It's a game of shadows and light all the time. You can't see the boundaries of the place.
It's getting quite scary now.
That's right. Oh, yeah.
Quite dreamlike, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we don't know exactly why we're here. We're trying to get to the mountain.
Okay. Light.
You're doing really well. I'm
Yes.
impressed.
Oh, people.
But do we want to consider switching control?
Yeah.
So now do your call.
Or are we happy
Where you
with
hold down
our
the circle
leadership?
button.
Yeah, you've got expertise now.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we've trained her up.
There you go.
I agree.
Oh, so now,
Now you're gonna step into the light.
Wow.
Strange people.
She's
Do you think those are graves?
Could be
wow.
graves.
Graves.
But
Did you
Did you say?
say graves or graves?
Graves.
Oh.
It's like gravestones.
I thought you meant graves from UFO film.
That's some from the Ku Klux Klan.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the what? Is this the map? Is this some kind of map?
Yeah, it
I
looks
think
like.
it is. But it's not a particularly useful one.
Yeah.
now they've switched the symbolism to Mesoamerica, haven't they? They're playing sort of different cultural
Yeah.
symbolic patterns as you go along.
Mesoamerica and a touch of dystopia.
All following that, having sat down in a meditative posture.
Wow.
What do you think the little sort of almost Japanese looking symbols
No,
are?
no, we voted unanimously that you should continue because you've got the skills now.
No one wants?
I think you should carry on.
Are
Yeah,
you
keep
sure?
going.
Until the burden's too heavy for you, seems that we're agreed
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah, the fuse is beginning to blow.
Where am I now?
I'm interested about the kind of people who play these games and how it's the experience
Spirituality.
with people playing, because you said something about them playing together and the pilgrimage is like people play together or people share the experience together online and things like that.
Yes.
But this is a very solitary
Yeah. Very
game. I mean, I can't imagine there being sort of 6 little
Now,
samurai people running around.
When it was first released, and I have you hooked up online just in case it happens, but while it is slightly older, so it might not, you would encounter another pilgrim along the way every once in a while, but it was only one at a time.
But this world,
In this world, and it would be another person playing the game also.
and that might still happen.
It might still happen. I'm hoping that it does.
I feel for this
But-
world, then that's quite sad, really. The once populous digital landscape now.
But
That is the something terribly
Desolate.
sad about that.
Yeah.
But that must happen in real pilgrimage sites.
the other way community fan groups, YouTube videos, people dressed up like this and they go to conventions and get together, so there's some sort of, having done it individually, there's a shared
I know.
something that develops, I guess.
Okay.
Yes, there's lots of, there's even a specific forum dedicated to people talking about their experiences playing the game. And they'll share what it was like for them, and then other people will comment on that, and it becomes almost this group experience, despite not having been in a group while playing it.
But this is where language itself, as a communal phenomenon, works between people are talking together online, aren't they?
Yeah.
But if you are, let's just say you do encounter another player, and it's just you and this person in this world as the pilgrimage, there's no way to communicate with them. So you can't talk to them over a headset. The only way to communicate is through the movement of your character and your sound.
But after the
That's
game, didn't you say that after the game people will
Get together and talk.
Yes, so there's this strange difference between when people encountered other people in the game and their lack of being able to communicate, and then this almost opposite side of people really communicating about it using.
So how do you
more of a
mutually
verbal-
communicate if you meet another person on screen?
Can't.
It's through movement and what you can do with your character, as we are now. You know, there's no communicate with them.
Where to go? Come on, advise me.
As someone controlling it, do you sometimes feel sort of a sense of despair?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that.
No.
You feel quite powerless, don't you, when you're driving it?
In the light, in the
It's strange,
darkness, I can't see anything. Everything is dark. There is nothing, no exit.
No.
And I feel a little bit despair that, you know,
I think you should
the
pass it on.
the human way to
I
the
think-
line of flight is by flying,
There's no
and as humans we cannot fly. So
Yeah. Maybe you should pass
So
out your game
I
too.
think you're in a valley, so it's either north or south, as it were. So should we go as far as we can in one direction,
okay.
and then if that's not it, then go back. But if you keep going around, if we keep going around in circles, we won't. That's
Yeah.
actually, I think you want to go towards that.
Oh,
Oh look, there's the window.
These guys have also read the near-death experience stuff, so they want us to get us down the tunnel of light.
You're getting quite good at flying.
No.
I think you need to go. Look, there's fireworks.
Yes,
There is. You go towards the fireworks, and there's a big finger.
It's a dark
Say
day.
about how it's
Gosh, yeah. What's that?
no, it's quite sad that no one goes here anymore. And that's it's like a real problem. It's like it's
Oh,
easy
wow.
because
It is.
yeah, it doesn't get as time goes on, it doesn't become stronger.
Well, some do.
Then there's
It's
carpet.
Yeah, like I played
Oh,
this
you can run
the other
over
night in order to get to the point where I could skip ahead, and I played with 4 other people. So there are people online.
And were those 4 people? Did they seem proficient? Were they all sort of like lovers of this world?
One of them was more so than the other one. Yeah.
So, but that suggests that there's only. Can you only play it online?
No, you can play it offline.
You can play it offline.
Yeah, Jonathan played it and played it offline.
There you go.
It's
Don't do what you're doing.
Don't do
what
it
you're doing.
forward, I mean.
Do what you're
Or
doing.
do
Go,
it.
go, 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 go,
Press
go,
X,
go!
But that was the one.
That
It was
was
like
the
a
way.
scale. It was like
Okay,
steps
okay.
of magic seaweed.
Really?
I'm just worried about us not finishing.
Well, that's true. Does it matter if we finish?
I think it does, but I also.
Might if it doesn't.
Right, if
How
we
much
get
we
the-
want to finish.
We can watch the finish
And if we want
with
to
the
finish,
expert.
if we want to finish, we probably should pass to the ending.
Yeah.
Certainly not me.
Well, it'll give us very bad dreams if we don't finish.
You think?
Or a sense of hopelessness and purposelessness.
Despair will ensue.
We've got
What
at
a
least
burden.
25 minutes at the moment, so we seem to have been stuck in this
You
dark room.
maybe
all
you
the
need to
time.
go up a sand dune and get a running jump at it. Or maybe it's because
No, you guys were on it. You were doing exactly what you
You
needed to
do the thing that you did before when you almost.
you jump to one and then the next and then the
Come
next.
on, you
and
can
then
do
the
it.
next.
Here we go. Let's not talk.
Why do you want
You were doing exactly what you needed to do. You
Whatever
just
it
have to
was.
make sure that you're careful with your aiming.
Whatever it was you did, you just missed the big.
It was so close by like a.
Snakes and ladders.
Here we go.
You can do it.
Try again.
I'm not quite sure what should we try
That's
to go
right.
What you
with.
did.
Well, that's it.
Whatever you did last time, it very nearly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jump onto that one.
Yeah, you did that.
Seaweed.
You definitely did
I
that.
think it's there, right?
Yeah.
Ahead of me.
Oh look, there's some hanging
You
down.
can look
Try
up
to
if
get
you
to the
push
hanging ones,
stick
yeah.
back, pull your stick back, it'll look up, I think.
Oh, that seems.
No, she's falling.
The symbols have gone off the.
I need the carpets. Where are the carpets?
These sea-
Looking at them.
These
Those
seaweed
are all
carpets.
carpets.
Carpets. They're
Fine
seaweed
one.
carpets.
Oh, this is.
This
Yes,
carpet.
these are
Yeah, that'll do it.
Go up, go up. X.
go. That's it. That's it.
Next
That's
one,
it.
next
Just
one.
do it.
Press it again.
Right.
Press it
Go.
again. Pull the carpets. No.
Oh,
This is like that moment in the pilgrimage when you really can't get up the hill.
that's right.
You're trying to jump up the carpets.
Should we ask Vivian to get us out of here?
let's let
And
Vivian
then
get
we'll
us
Also, is that kind of thing now that we've had to rely on? I don't know.
No, it's skill sharing.
So close. So close.
Okay, so let's see how it's done.
We're in full sync.
Do you continuously press the X one? No. Okay.
Do that. Years ago.
You were doing the right thing. It was just a matter of
Persistent.
Oh, I know
There's
the
actual
CNN.
serious jellyfish.
That's
They
really
are,
jellyfish.
yeah.
What an imagination from the ocean.
It is really imaginative. Yeah. There's like a weird dolphin cup shark thing.
Slay the monster.
Yeah, I'd say monster.
You slay them. Just hide from each other.
It's definitely underwater.
We don't have any weapons.
What happens if the monster sees you?
it'll do this.
Oh my days.
But is it a good creature or a bad?
It's not very. I can get hit by it if you like me to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what happens if
try.
it
Maybe
hits
it's a
you?
friend.
I think this is the first,
Maybe he's a
the
friend.
first bad scene.
I feel like quite invincible in this game.
I think
In
it
a
can't
sense.
die.
Yeah.
In that
Yeah.
it's on a screen. So let's play with death.
But also fallen great heights with no ill effect.
The gargoyles are there. It's sort of secular cathedral, isn't it?
Alright, so
It's
it's
an
gonna see me.
underwater cathedral.
Try to run away.
But she's not game.
We're here for the laboratory.
No, we could do that.
Something a bit authentic.
Well, it's good when the virtual hits the real, isn't it?
Real cyber, real video game.
Maybe she go on his back.
They're on the
There's
back
two
door.
of them.
Yeah, they always, you wait for ages and then they always come in twos.
What, like buses?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or interest.
So how does this relate to the pilgrimage?
I've
There are
never
times when you have
experienced
to
it like
dodge.
this.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
No. There's peril,
Yeah, but it's
And
such a general impression.
let's just go quickly.
but it's not really peril in this sense.
Here's the light.
It's more peril in, you know, will I freeze to
He's
death?
seen you.
Oh, it's alright. You're gonna.
It's alright, you got to the
Burn this.
really amazing night theatre.
Where we started.
Now you move another stage. That's it.
Stop right in it. Sit.
Now I'm gonna meditate for a bit.
That was the first bit of interpersonal, wasn't it?
That's right.
I'm quite intrigued by this idea that other people might be playing it, which suggests that it's only one world. You know, it's one space. It's almost like obviously it's not a physical space, but it's not. It's one space that you have to share.
Yeah.
In the same sense, when you think about the real world, this is one world. We're all seeing lenses. We've all got our own sort of screen going on.
Yeah. We don't have to log in to do it though.
No.
It's beautiful. Digitized temple.
To be part of this world.
Awake? I think so. I suppose you could log on and fall asleep.
Oh, I mean, the real world does it as well.
No, the crucial thing about pilgrimage is that it can be exhausting.
That's right.
because
Yeah.
You're pushing
That's
yourself.
right. This is
And
dangerous.
literally, people don't eat very much, or they're quite sort of with their
And the
food
God
and drink
teachers, she
things,
must
aren't
be.
they?
I mean, she must be.
And it's the tiredness and the relationship to the body that is such a huge part of pilgrimage. That this completely doesn't have, obviously.
Some people would want to say these are no longer pilgrimages because there's no suffering, but others would want to say no, it's all about arriving at the destination rather than how you get there. So there is a huge split in pilgrimage studies between the journey and the destination. Is
That's
the
right.
key thing. Because one of the things that I encountered when I spoke to people on the pilgrimage trail was that there was a real division between those who were quite comfortable with noticing the trace of others on the pilgrimage trail and feeling part of that, and quite dramatically in terms of human waste and the like, even, you know. and those who really didn't like that because they saw it as somehow defiling the purity of the mountain and really wanted a much more individual experience almost of the mountainside.
Pilgrimage is in sort of historical terms, are they both individual and are different pilgrimages individual and like personal things, individual things, and others things that you do with your family, with your religious community, with people that you meet on the way, strangers. But it's a with thing. But there are definitely pilgrimages that are alone things.
But it raises really the cultural classification of self or non-self.
That's right.
And there's a good anthropological literature on that. That in a sense you can't have individual pilgrimage, you might argue.
Yeah, because it wouldn't be a pilgrimage. It wouldn't be a pilgrimage if no one else had ever thought of doing it.
No place, no whatever.
I like the idea of the transformation because she's not changing.
She's changing.
She's
getting cold.
where? What?
She's getting cold.
Becoming blue.
She's shivering.
Is that why you're hiding behind the gravestones?
She's got sort of cat ears,
That
in her.
gravestone.
Unless it's just the trick of the camera.
No, now you can see underneath the skirt, yeah, definitely.
No, it's the same clothes.
Why are you hiding behind the gravestones?
Because of the wind.
So the wind
The
comes
wind
along
will
once in
blow
a
me
while.
back.
Yeah, hide from the window.
So this blocks the wind.
But we wouldn't, you see, if we were really that kind, we would really be feeling it, it would be searing our lungs, our nose would be, have those icicles forming in it, it would be,
Yeah, but it is on a screen.
yeah.
I think it's the issue when you put the idea of pilgrimage together with this, and you come up against the physical thing. You get to how embodied does one feel when one's an avatar.
Yeah.
The fact that we're not experiencing the senses. Well, we can obviously see and hear, but we can't feel.
Now, when
No, but you can feel when
can
you touch
yeah,
it.
that's what I was going to say.
When you
Oh,
touch
it
it and when you
vibrates.
try, you find
Well,
it
okay, but
vibrates. No, but you can feel like the despair I did.
Oh, I see
of
feel as an
finding the
emotion.
way.
I
Yes,
feel.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Of finding the way, of feeling lost, of what to do.
Yeah, we feel quite comfortable right now, don't we? Because we feel
Because
we
you're
know
not
we're following
in
an
control.
experienced
Because
guide.
you're not
Yes.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
control. That's right.
I feel quite attached to the avatar. I'd
Do
say.
you?
Even in this short while, I've got quite used to looking at it. Following
You
it.
say it's a her. We
Yeah.
all think it's a her.
Yeah.
So
It's
who was
really
it? So it was a
common,
massage
pronoun.
dress.
It's her.
I
I
quite like
always
that.
said a he in the first
It's
instance.
a
This is
massage.
the
That's just from
It's the first time we've seen this circle of light
The moon.
as
That's
such.
right.
It's the moon.
It's gone dark.
Wow.
Yeah, so if I was on pilgrimage and it gone dark, I think especially if the weather was like this, I'd be thinking, is there a place I can hole up for the night?
Absolutely. You can't hitch into this dark either. It's too muddy.
To avoid myself dying, really.
Or you might have sort of crampons and things and be ready for it.
I suppose, but I don't know. It looks pretty hostile, the environment. So trek through.
But that looks like a castle, it looks like a refuge, doesn't it?
Yeah, true. So maybe you know you've got a destination in mind.
Nice refuge.
And the little figures are there to welcome you. There you are. There's the door.
There's the graves of previous pilgrims.
Yes. And they light up, they give us a sign.
Oh.
Ah.
The sand is back.
So this is called the journey. So you were saying a minute ago that some people are arguing that pilgrimages are about the destination,
Yes.
not about the journey. I think there'd be more people probably who would say it's the journey.
Probably. It might be partly cultural as well.
I think that the two kind of come together because I think a journey
The
is sort of a process, destination, sort of spacious.
Yeah.
The question is if you can shortcut the journey, make it easier, so as you get to the destination you can get the blessing, the darshan, whatever it may be. Is that as valid as if you suffer your way up?
Yeah.
You know, or
This
is
is
there
why
something
Aldous Huxley
necessary?
wrote his book, The Doors of Perception. You can get to God by taking the pill.
Yes.
Pills.
That's right, shortcuts, moksha magic.
watch it from the end. So you need a destination in a video game,
Yeah.
and you need to be scored because of that. But in real Pilgrim, the process is much more, I think.
Well, but then you're generally trying to get to a shrine with a bit of body or clothing of some saint or
Yes.
other, aren't you?
But here in video game, you must end it. That's it. You need to win.
Yeah.
This is the aim.
When I walk through a pilgrimage, I walk through a landscape that's thick with references to things that happened in mythological time, and I know that I'm walking the footsteps of.
Just above where we are sitting now, there's called Mountjoy. It's the Mountjoy stuff, where the pilgrims coming to Durham in medieval times.
Oh,
When they got to the top of the hill, they had the joy because they could see the cathedral.
Oh,
So
really?
that we are mapping on the pilgrimage site.
That's nice.
That's really nice.
But this is very different to a pilgrimage to Durham Cathedral in that sense. There's no Saint well,
We don't know yet what's at the end.
But you hide it.
You would know.
Yeah.
You don't just come to Durham and discover St. Cuthbert, do you?
No, you knew where you were going last way. Couldn't just be in the video.
Unless maybe you do nowadays if you're a tourist and you just sort of wander in there. But then are you a tourist or a pilgrim?
That's serendipity. Has to be a good paper. Serendipity as pilgrimage.
Yeah. Does anyone else want to go before the end? Last chance, really?
I'm very happy watching.
Okay then.
Why is that?
Despair.
You need to emerge.
Also, it looks a bit scary.
Yeah, fear.
But all the way it was scary.
Yeah, but no offense to how scary your bit was. It was scary too.
You led us very well.
Oh, thank you.
Very good. There's a strange noise.
There's one of those dragon things around here.
A good one or a bad one?
A bad one.
The landscapes are always a wasteland of some sort.
Yes. No man's land. It is. I mean, there is no state. There is no. Oh.
There's no path either. I don't know how you know where you're going, really.
It's a
I'm not
very
sure.
nomads world.
You've done it before. I mean, if I was wandering
Landing.
this, I'd probably just be wandering around in circles. Because there's no path.
I think the other thing is the element of video gamers as a population and as people who feel connected to these kinds of worlds more than people who don't.
Is anyone?
Eventually,
Is anyone?
I was avoiding using the term.
Is anyone here a video gamer? 'Cause I don't know.
Yes, I'm
Well,
playing. I'm usually
so-
playing.
Oh, that's why you were good at getting around.
Is this something you'd encountered before?
I know.
No.
No.
But this sort of thing, maybe.
I play war games. A lot
Right.
of war games.
Yeah.
Conjure, something like that.
But you see, I think, I mean, personally, I'm not, because I think I wouldn't, like, if I do something physical, I feel a sense of well-being and achievement at
Yes,
the end. And what my question is to the gamers is, when you get to the end of a thing like this, do you feel that sense of, wow, I've done it, I've got there?
No, I scored. Really, this is what I feel. Yeah.
Yeah? You feel you scored?
I feel like if I play a game for a long time, at the end I'll just feel this strange sense of guilt almost. I don't know how it does something real.
Exactly.
That's why I don't.
Yeah, that's
But then you're basically saying this is not real, of course.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, but there's obviously lots of more ideological issues than what is the
What is
authentic
real.
or the real. For some people, this
Absolutely.
real accomplishment from maybe completing a game than you would say if you were sitting at a desk 9 to 5.
Oh, be careful.
What about those who can't do the things physically for whatever
It is, you're about to fly off the edge.
Yeah, no,
I
sorry,
think
I
that's
got it.
different. That's the thing that I'm interested in, because there's an effective existential connection with these worlds that for someone who sees it as, I feel like I haven't been doing something real, then but there's some other connection that people don't feel, I should have been doing something real, but I feel that this is
Yeah.
connecting me with something real that is more real than sitting at a desk or being on a telephone operating cord or whatever it is. So that it's that line of real, not real, but you kind of have to take a leap of faith to be there.
And that's where the psychology of rewards and punishments comes up with this.
Right.
When you finish something, you feel
Oh
satisfied.
no! Oh no! You fell.
But it's just like snakes and ladders. You just got more ladders to get up again.
Yeah, we don't have so long.
No, it's okay. This won't take long.
But I think your point about linearity is really important.
Yeah.
Because you could sit down, you could waste 5 hours in a night looking at this,
That's
when
right.
you could have written 3 pages of your thesis. Do you know what I mean? Or something like
I
that.
like the word could, that if you had 5 hours, you would definitely produce 3 papers.
I'm an optimist.
We've gone back on ourselves.
One
now.
night we will produce them.
We are almost done. We will finish in time. We'll be able to get coffee as well.
Ah.
Good, that's the reward we need.
After all this cold.
But I think your point about the rewards and punishments is really good, because how do the reward systems and punishment systems of the game world link up with one's own subjectivity outside when your computer is turned off?
That's it.
Because if what you do is feel guilty
Yes.
afterwards, then that's a punishment. But if what you do is feel good afterwards, then you don't feel
Yes.
that you want to not do this again and write a paper instead.
You don't necessarily, at least in an offline world, you don't win social status for completing the game if it's in your own world.
Rather the opposite, though.
That's right. So a pilgrim should get some sort of increase in status, or even if it's not as marked as a classic writing passage. You can return back and tell people I've done it.
Or an interior sense of pleasure. I mean,
Yeah.
you can set all sorts of goals, can't you? And if you achieve them, even though nobody else knows about it, you can feel good.
Ooh, but does that work as well as when it's recognised by the community?
Depends on persons. I mean, psychologies vary.
Yes.
Well, the thing is that you're assuming then that the person who's getting the internal sense of joy and accomplishment in the gaming world does not then get that same acknowledgement from the rest of the gaming community.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's it. So there is a
Well,
social
you
dimension.
know, for
So-
somebody who, let's just
There is
say
the
you've
online.
completed some major step in a very important game and you mention that to the gaming community, they'll have a certain reaction of, wow, you were able to do that?
Of course.
And then there's the acknowledgement there as well.
But then there's questions of ontology, because are they recognising you, or are they recognising a screen name or an avatar? I mean, to what extent
Or to what extent is the
that
avatar you?
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's I mean,
Very
I
slowly.
know nothing
But
about
as
this. But
long as you play, the
I think to a
avatar
large
is
extent
you.
it is.
Of course.
Vivian, do you work on cyber worlds?
Yeah, so I do religion and popular culture, and I'm focusing on online worlds and video games.
Oh.
And is some of the, are we hitting any of the issues in our
No, it's
discussion?
very interesting because I was also yesterday I was in a panel where they were talking about this group, and then they were talking about, well, maybe we shouldn't focus on historical authenticity, we should focus on sincerity.
Vivian, you're collapsing.
Yeah, that happened, and we're done.
Did we get, is that
What
the
do
end?
you mean she
No,
died?
we
She
got
died?
Heaven.
She died?
The
She
hill.
collapsed?
Wake up in hospital.
Really judge.
Just gave you a bit too much
the
morphine.
monitor in the background. Connected
And there
to
we are, frozen lump.
So you lost?
Oh wow.
Oh.
So that's how it ends.
That's it,
Fantastic.
No, look, here they are, there are the people.
It's the
There has to be
ideas.
resurrection.
Wait, just when you thought, this is the most pilgrim at all, just when you thought you weren't going to make it,
An alien.
you actually had.
You mentioned Hero of a Thousand Faces. The music, if you look at the soundtrack, each one of the songs in order of the game are named after each stage of the hero's journey from Campbell's.
Is it now?
Yes.
Named after what?
Campbell's
The
Hero's Journey.
hero's journey from Campbell.
It's this song.
Apotheosis, I think.
Is what, sorry?
Apotheosis.
Apotheosis.
One with God.
Really beautiful now. Dances with curtains.
It's amazing what the movement is. We've got contrast.
That's
Yeah.
true, actually.
Whereas
Not having
in that
any
contrast,
blue this rich before, have we? Just the one green with that nice blue.
it was just right. It was
And water instead of the symbolic opposite is marked blue.
No, it's two dinar. It's like two balls, two dinar equal.
But now you're basically becoming a magic carpet because you can fly wherever you want.
That's right. Now it's the good
It's
ball.
the different tail. The longer tail gives you more carpet properties.
carpets were like gods and we couldn't do anything. Now we are the god.
Yeah, let's appreciate the carpet.
Just fly around.
We need to appreciate them now.
Well, angelic figures have had wings in country history for rather a long time.
That's true.
Here we
Okay.
go.
But one doesn't immediately think of a carpet
Vision.
as wings.
Up the summit.
We're getting there. We've got to get to that gap in the mountain.
Interesting, but a lot of the time pilgrimage you don't actually see the
But the
sun.
sun is on the right hand side.
Yeah, you're right. It shouldn't be lit up.
And instead if you go to the summit then you
If it's
die.
the sun.
Maybe there were two suns in this world.
Mm.
There we go.
Oh, that was nice.
It was not very graceful landing.
You might have taken the aeroplane, but you need to walk the last lap.
Yeah, my scarf's on.
Ah.
Yeah, final test.
Now you're just a regular human being. Samurai Maasai woman.
Very clever with the way the music changes in computer games.
But I wonder if I will play it again. I don't know. Usually I'm going to the end, and that's it.
It's amazing though because I don't know, I feel like we've been here for what, an hour and a bit.
Yeah, because we
I
started
feel
at
I
like
do feel
about
a
an hour
sense of
15.
accomplishment, bearing in mind it's 10:30 in the morning. However unreal it is. I've earned this coffee, I feel.
So
I haven't even touched the controller.
You can take the final steps if you like.
I'm being carried on someone's back the whole way.
The medical
I thought we
establishment
were up
validated
there. I
it.
thought we
There
got
we
there.
go.
That's right.
Yeah,
did.
that's us.
That's us,
Oh,
the shooting
that's us.
star. Which is
Shooting
why I
star.
said we kind of technically met somebody. So if you,
Ah.
yeah,
We
while
saw
you're
that
playing,
star.
every time that you see a shooting star go
Oh, that's
past you,
someone-
that's somebody completing the game.
Oh, that's,
Okay.
I like that. And that was right at the start, I think.
Yeah.
So we're quite far behind them, but
That's the start.
So now we're dead. We're a dead star.
I don't know what we are. We become one with the cosmos.
He says as a writer, don't be like a meteor that burns up, be like a star.
What? Who?
Schopenhauer, if that's how you say his name.
What would a feminist theoretical critique of this be, I wonder?
Shag trousers.
Yeah. And ride a horse.
Why ride a horse?
Because I think never be alone in another creature.
We had the carpet
Not
creatures.
just a human creature, a non-human creature. The combination of the human and non.
Well, I felt quite attached to the other little carpets. That were
Carpet.
helpful
But the carpets are not.
There's no possessive.
There is no. That's right.
I see what your faith side of it.
Yeah, what?
That this, the music and some of the scenery and the church, like the idea that the end game is not conquering something or winning a trophy. It's dying, going to heaven, exploding in a star.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I've read all the comments about people saying it's very. I find it that spiritual and it's just because I can't get over my lack of locatedness in the world in terms of understanding its mythological grammar, being my lack of locatedness in terms of physical experience. Personally, I don't find it that spiritual experience.
Have you not arrived at the game with already a sense of what is spiritual or spiritual experiences? Or have you arrived at this having never done anything like pilgrimage?
Yeah.
Or never experienced something that you call spiritual, perhaps? In relative terms.
You might be right. I don't know.
Yeah, and it depends on your, well, everything, doesn't it? somebody's not had much experience in the real world, a whole sacrificial thing, it will be quite different of how these motifs play, motifs you emoted before.
If you've never heard this music before, it also, if you imagine you've never heard sort of classical,
Music's nice, yeah.
beautiful music. Music alone almost projects you to a spiritual place.
That's where I was starting with this idea of beauty, and you know the sense that some people argue that actually you don't need a grammar of mythological discourse just in physical things. The sense of what Basin calls grace, you know, when you lose yourself in this mesh of other, is enough. But
well, that's what it is. I mean, it's a whole set of stimuli for emotional response. Says the sun when you not many things new under the sun. When you get the symbolic motifs, it's the putting them together. The stars in the sky. And you see, they don't make much sense to people who live in modern cities, who
For
hardly
example.
ever see the sky.
For example, or the desert.
Yeah,
That's right.
They'll know them through films and such.
but not as a
Stories
real life
people
experience
tell.
of sleeping under the stars.
Earlier, I mentioned UFO mythology, which a lot of people within the study of religion and anthropology don't regard as real mythology because it's so new almost. There's something we regard it as being a real anything.
And how legitimate?
Legitimacy.
Yeah, we tend to focus, I think, too much on whether something is or historic, authentic, therefore to study, rather than focusing on the experiences and the experiences of the people that we're studying. But maybe that's because I, studying popular culture, that idea of trying to find something historically authentic is not.
Authentic, that's a separate thing because it's like modern Wicca. That's not as authentic as or ain't claimed, but it's real. It's a real practice.
And you can take that into any sectarian group that you care to choose.
So,
Kilt.
example that I think is interesting, of course, and here in the West we find it very kind of laughable and things like that. In Japan there is a big movement of men having virtual girlfriends, but they are physical, but they're also they're robots basically.
They're robots.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're robots.
Is that quite a vibe? Is that a cultural?
It's becoming, well, I don't know, but more of a thing for men who tend to be quite internalized, probably spend a lot of time on the computer, don't have very good skills to pick up women, and you can order these women very, I think that there may be kind of software that you can also engage with so that there's more than just a plastic doll.
right.
There's kind of different elements of it, and there are people go to restaurants with their dolls. I mean, it's become more of a.
Kept in the house.
It's not just a shameful thing that we keep under the bed. It's a this is my girlfriend kind
There
of
was a
thing.
telly program on about a fortnight ago in the UK. America. Oh, plastic woman in a wheelchair. Not as sophisticated as the android.
And you can think of all kinds of weird examples like that, I think. But I think the question of authenticity, is it real because it's that you said that it's making neurological, unconscious effects, having a real effect on our sense system, or can we still disapprove of it and not be like intellectually?
Question. Because we talk about legitimacy, so in Japan then over here, as you said, like.
Well, it maybe it's
Aspiring.
marginalised, but it's.
But psychologically, it's like the thing that the Japanese have been working on robots called the uncanny valley, which is about when a robot. One guy noted how people in his lab had emotional reaction to it as to a corpse. I've written on this stuff about the humans to a because it's stimuli, the visual and other stimuli which we get from it are as we get from a corpse, which is a bit turn it round and it could be erotic.
Of course, it's the other side. All the time, it's the other side of the coin.
But
Okay.
you can continue
Oh
discussing
gosh,
with
yes,
that
we
if you
need-
wish.